Hello, my fine feathered friends. I hope everyone's doing well. This week is a different kind of video. Well, kind of. It comes to you in a different format. Instead of splitting the create a sim video and build videos like I did last week, this week I decided to combine them. So right now you are seeing the creation of a very cute pastel vampire with the build afterward being her little house in Oasis Springs. I thought that it would be interesting to see them combined, and so did some of my friends and family. So I went ahead and combined them for this video and next week's video. So both of them will have a create a sim and build combined into one. Yeah, I think that it will be interesting to see your guys' response to this format. Personally, I really enjoy it. I have both the videos down to about 28 minutes each, and I think that it helped cut out a lot of the extra things. Like, I cut out, some of the roofing and landscaping, and I think that it turned out better just because it cuts down some of the extras that, no one really cares to watch me landscape and place a tree. Or at least I don't really care to see that unless it's a landscape heavy build or that's the purpose of it. But yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments if you end up liking the format of this video or have a suggestion for another type of format for Sims videos or anything else really. I'm always looking to try new things. And just as a little bit off of that, I don't plan on doing a ton of videos like this. I know that I have been putting a lot of Sims videos out just because that's the game that I've been enjoying recently, but it will not always be a build that comes with a CAS or a CAS that comes with a build. I will still post ones that are just one-off families or one-off builds. It just happened that the past couple things that I built, I wanted to do a sim that fit with it, and that's her. So today, I thought that I would talk to you about what I've been enjoying recently. Hopefully some people find it interesting, but yeah, I think that during quarantine, at least in particular, I have struggled a little bit with enjoying the things that I used to. And I think it just comes with, like a tinge of burnout, but also just wanting to do something different because obviously before quarantine happened back, when life was relatively normal, I like to do a lot of things that was outside my house. I loved to go to movies by myself and go get some snacks, sit down, watch a movie for a couple hours, maybe walk around and shop for a little while, or just look at things, window shop. I did that once every couple months, not too frequently, but that was one of the things that I'm passionate about, and it's actually one of the things that I have my degree in is film. And while in quarantine, I quickly realized that one, I missed that a lot. I really missed not being able to go see A Quiet Place Part 2 in theaters specifically, and I know that they've delayed the release for that, and I missed being able to go to movie premieres at the start of quarantine through now, and I don't really feel like even with things partially reopening it's safe enough to do that at this point. So I feel like once I finally get back to doing that experience, I will savor it for what it is, relaxing and something that I enjoy. And it's been hard to come up with things that I enjoy doing while, staying at home and kind of looking at the same four walls. I know that some people are in that same position where, they're stuck in one place or they're stuck sitting inside, maybe don't have the mobility or the health to get out and go on drives or anything. But Yeah, some of the things that I've been enjoying obviously is gaming. I really got back into Sims during quarantine. I obviously started my Instagram. If you know me from there, I was at Sustained Aesthetic at first, and then I switched over to Cozybec once I decided that I wanted to expand into videos and streaming. So I would say that if you can, one of the things that I've enjoyed is just turning my hobbies into something more, whether that just looks like posting photos in a place where you don't feel like you're pressured as much to serve an aesthetic or post specific things. I really enjoyed that at the beginning of my Instagram. I enjoyed posting my progress in Animal Crossing just from the beginning because that was the first Animal Crossing game that I've ever played. And doing things like that, I've read a little bit, I have picked up books here and there, I've watched some shows and movies. I'm currently in the process of watching Criminal Minds and, watching a bunch of things on Netflix. But I think that finding things to do inside your house and things that you enjoy while being trapped there looks different for everybody. And I know that a lot of people have picked up crafts in different areas. There are a lot of people knitting the Harry Styles sweater on TikTok or making videos and just entertaining themselves at home. It looks different for everybody. I will reiterate that. But if you can turn the things that you enjoy doing outside your house into an inside your house activity, I think that it makes it all the better. So, as an example for that, one of the other things that I enjoyed doing is I would take my laptop because I am a writer and I would go to, the coffee shop closest to me or the library and sit down and write for a while. And while in quarantine, I was like, I'm not getting anything done. And I'm still kind of at the point where I'm not getting as much done as I wish I was. But to combat that, I actually have a couch in my room now. At the beginning of quarantine, kind of towards like a month or so into it, my sister helped me move a few things around in my room. We set up my desk for my current streaming setup and obviously my video recording setup. But one of the things that we added was a couch, and that couch has kind of become my in-home coffee spot. So there's a, side of it that I sit on with my laptop, and I will sit and write with a cup of coffee or a drink next to me and maybe a little snack and just sit and work on stuff. And obviously, like, that looks different to everybody, and I do occasionally just sit down with a plan to write, but then end up making content for Instagram or working on thumbnails. But I don't really see that as much of a problem. I enjoy it from the aspect of I'm not sitting at my bed or I'm not sitting rigid at a desk somewhere. I think that you have to be considerate, especially if you're staying indoors constantly right now. You have to know that your body needs some variation, and it's much too hot for me to do what I enjoy doing, which is running. And I think that I would have an asthma attack if I tried to do it now. But finding the things that work while you're by yourself or while you're in a contained area, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. And there's a lot that, makes you realize, oh, I miss going outside or I miss certain aspects of this. And you just have to figure out what is going to fit with whatever new lifestyle you have in place right now. If that is working from a different area in your home and then having your bed as a relaxation area, then do that. If you are able and can work from a living room but also have a couch and a table be designated as two separate working areas, that really helps me a lot. changing the places where I'm working and changing the places where I sit down to do things helps me get in a better mindset, at least I think, for whatever I may be working on. Because I know that I would get out of the house specifically to sit down and work on things, so I didn't have like the internet distracting me or something else distracting me. It's way easier to tune out strangers and coffee shop music than it is to tune out maybe friends or family that you're staying with or roommates. So finding those spaces that you can allot yourself, even if it's just corners of the same room like mine is, then it's really, really important. I think that it's way more important than some people consider it to be. You have to give yourself some variation, and you have to understand that some of the things is it gets boring sitting in the same spot, and it's really boring to just stare at the same four walls. So you have to give yourself a little bit of variety with that. And the same thing with enjoying things that you do outside in the same way as you do inside. You kind of have to recreate those scenarios for yourself. So when I feel the urge, maybe I guess is a better way to phrase it. When I feel the urge to go to the library or go to the coffee shop, I'll pick one of the books up off my shelf or some of my piles that I haven't read yet, and I'll maybe sit in a different position and put on some light background music and sit down and read that way. Or I have recently hung up some lights in my room, and I will use that as lighting to read rather than my overhead lights, just because it's a little bit dimmer, it's a little bit more atmospheric. And I think finding those different ways to change up your space is really good, and to use items that you already had sitting around. Like, I've switched around my decor a little bit, and that's been really nice during all of this. And just yeah, refreshing your space can do a lot. It really can. And it's hard to, if you feel like, oh, well, I'm missing this, or oh, this is a trend right now, maybe I should buy that. You don't technically have to buy anything to redo a space or refresh an area. You can just use what you have and maybe change the configuration of the furniture or how you interact with it, sit on it, whatever it may be. And I think that helps a lot. I think that it really provides a different perspective and a different way to enjoy things. Especially, I've been doing that with Sims too. I've been trying to do it with Animal Crossing, just trying to figure out how to interact with these things that I love and enjoy. Like, I love reading, I love writing, I love playing games, but sometimes you can get burnout from the things that you enjoy doing, and that's okay. It's just figuring out a way to refresh it and do something different in whatever it may be. So for Sims, that's what I've been doing. I've been creating create Sims that work with whatever kind of house that I'm trying to build. And, for this one, my parameters were that, oh, what if there was a vampire, but she was recently turned and she was very peppy and colorful, maybe a college student, maybe she was an art student. And then she got turned into a vampire, and now she has to figure out how she's going to live and continue to go to school while she is a vampire. And that was really just my parameter. Make it colorful, make it not seem like it's, a vampire stuff pack build, essentially, and make it more interesting. And, setting parameters and stuff for yourself is something that I really enjoy. Like, I've done Stardew Valley runs where I will go in and I have to marry someone and take someone to the flower dance immediately, and I have to collect everything in one go, or I have to complete the museum after a certain time, or complete the community center after a certain time. And those new ways to look at old games you love really refreshes things, especially when you're limited on maybe buying a different game, or expanding your collection at this time isn't a possibility. I think that doing things like that and trying, I guess, different versions, different difficulty runs on popular games that you may enjoy helps. It really does. And I think that one of the things that I really enjoy, at least with Sims, is giving myself strange and different parameters that I want to do with builds. With this one, I really enjoyed it, and then the one for next week, I recreated a house that I saw on Architectural Digest, which I'm a big AD fan. I'm not even gonna lie about that. It popped up. I saw the article, I clicked through it. It's this beautiful green Tudor. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I think I did a great job recreating it, but that was just something that I thought looked fun to do. So I turned around and I did it. And that's totally okay. If you decide, hey, I'm going to recreate, the Taj Mahal in Animal Crossing, go for it. Make your own designs. Make a giant Taj Mahal setup. Those kinds of things, and the way you see maybe old games in a new light helps refresh what you've been doing and reinvigorate you in your hobbies. And with writing, I find that too. Sometimes I'll just take a break. I'll try to write a short story, or I'll totally shift focus and do something else for a little while. And that's okay. I mean, you can totally sit down and just think, I cannot stand one more second of looking at the same novel you've been working on and then turn around and do something else. You don't have to completely put your focus into one specific thing. And I think sometimes we forget that, especially during quarantine. It's kind of been two warring ideas of sitting down and being productive during all of this, and then other people will say you have no obligation to be productive. You can do whatever you want during this time. And for someone like me who is anxious and oftentimes has some mental health issues, that's not really helpful, because I can't just say, oh, I'm just not going to do anything this week. Then I don't feel good about myself. So sitting down and being able to think, okay, what is my task for today? What am I going to do? And if I don't enjoy the things that I've been doing, how can I change that? And how can I make it into a different kind of passion project, or something that I put time into that I want to enjoy? Because everything that I build with Sims, everything that I post on Instagram about Animal Crossing or other things, everything I stream, I try to do it in a way where I enjoy it first, and then I hope that others enjoy it with me in whatever capacity they can. Obviously, I post Twitch highlights on here, and I just did for Nancy Drew, and it's enjoyable. But then, sometimes you do have to look at yourself and think, okay, what's next? What will I also enjoy doing that I can turn around and maybe others will enjoy as well? Maybe that's just me, but I do wholeheartedly like to sit down and think, okay, what is something that I want to do, and what is something that I think others will enjoy seeing me do? And you obviously don't have to think about it in that aspect, or think about it in maybe the aspect of other people consuming your work or whatever you may be doing as a hobby. But I think that it's okay during quarantine to think, all right, well, if I enjoy this, maybe someone else will. Maybe I can share something and go from there. Because a lot of people are a little bit lonely during this time, or, they're not in the workplace where they get some social interaction, or they're not able to see their friends, or if your cities and towns have opened back up and everything is getting back into the swing of things, you're like, well, I've burnt myself out on everything that I enjoyed doing as a hobby during quarantine, so now that everything's back in the swing of things, I don't really have anything that I enjoy doing to relax and unwind from the day. And like I said, that's just a way to look at things and think, okay, I need to reframe how I enjoy this hobby. I need to try something new, maybe, or I need to turn around and start a new hobby in some form or way. And it doesn't have to take up all your time. It doesn't have to look a certain way, but getting yourself maybe out of that comfort zone and turning around and doing something in a different way can really help, at least in my opinion. And, I will wholeheartedly enjoy going back to the movies when everything reopens here in the States. I will probably cry when I finally sit down into a movie theater again. But for right now, it's okay that I'm just watching crap movies on Netflix from my bed or my couch. I don't really see a problem with that. And I think that a lot of people try to maybe only view their hobbies as either an inside one or an outside one and don't exactly know how to import it back into what their life looks like at the current moment. Like for me, like I said, I love walking around and shopping or window shopping, and it's so easy to do that online. All you have to do is pull up, your favorite website or clothing thing, scroll through list, look at things, think, oh, that's neat, and then move on. Like, you don't have to buy anything when you're online shopping, just like you don't have to buy anything when you're in store. And reframing that to a point where you can enjoy the things that you did outside of quarantine now, if you're still in it, I think that is one of the best things that I've tried to do for myself. Recreating coffee shop scenarios or, just working on myself in whatever way that looks like. There's no wrong answer to this, and there's really no blueprint for how any of us will look at the world after all this is over, or if it ever fades to a point where we all go back to a normal life and travel opens back up. Obviously, I can't exactly travel and do the things that I love right now with that, but I can go on Instagram and I can look at other people in other countries and scroll through Google Maps. I am a total nut for the street view. I will just click on it and go to a random street in a random country and follow the Google car down the road and just look at everything that there is to offer there. And maybe that's a little bit weird, but at the end of the day, it feels like I'm going to do something or that I'm experiencing something else maybe, and it's fun to do. And you can do a lot of things right now. If you're bored with any kind of creative thing that you enjoy doing, then you could pick up a different hobby. You can write reviews for things. You can listen to music and do that. Start a blog. You could start an Instagram, a YouTube, a Twitch. Like, you can do anything to keep yourself entertained during all this and keep your hobbies alive in whatever form they may take on during this. And that's what I've enjoyed. Yeah, I've really enjoyed sitting down and working on this YouTube channel, working on my Twitch stream, figuring out what new and next thing I want to do on Instagram. Things can constantly be changing, and that's totally okay. I mean, you can turn around and decide at the end of the month that you don't like something anymore and just delete it. There's no parameters, which is something that I think I've discovered and really enjoyed during all this. I've just come to the conclusion that if there's no parameters, then I guess I can do whatever I want. And sometimes you have to hear that from someone else, that you can do whatever you want as long as it makes you happy. And it kind of reminds us, I think, as humans, and especially me, as someone who's pretty stubborn and stuck in our ways, that we can do whatever we want that makes us happy and go from there. We don't have to stick with one type of hobby or one type of content that we produce. We can change it up. We can make things look different. And yeah, that's my spiel for today. That's my spiel for this video. I will briefly talk about the build since I've talked over the majority of it at this point. As you can see, a lot of things have colorful accents. I tried to match it up to our little vampire sim as best as I could. I was just trying to find different colors, brighter colors for everything. The upstairs is full of a lot of windows, as you could tell, which doesn't really make much sense for a vampire, but because Sims vampires are fine once they're indoors, I didn't really see an issue with it. And this is kind of my little homage to Midnight Sun coming out, the newest Twilight book. I have it on my nightstand. I've been reading it. I've been loving it. And yeah, I just thought that it would be fun to create a different kind of vampire who maybe isn't as mopey and moody and brooding as Edward Cullen is. And I think that this little house really reflects the character that I built up in my head as I was creating her. It's very bright. It's very much the art college student that I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of different backstories that I came up, with, like, maybe she was doing an art project and stumbled on a vampire late one evening and they turned her, or whatever happened, but now she decided that she wanted to have her own house and make it as colorful as possible and still continue on with art school because she didn't want to drop out, which I think is funny. And I enjoyed building this. I enjoyed doing a little basement addition that makes the house seem like it's not really a house up at the top. It's more of a little sitting area. I can imagine it on like a community lot or in a park or something, kind of like a little conservatory area. And I think that you could easily edit this house too for a normal sim. You could add in a toilet. I don't actually have a toilet in this build, and the only trash can is one outside. But I think that you could add things in that made it a little bit more friendly to non-vampire sims. But I just enjoyed really building something that felt a little bit quirkier, a little bit out of my comfort zone, and something different. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone build something like this that was very modern and bright and a little bit, I guess, a college student, really. It kind of looks like a dorm to me. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And actually, we're coming up on my favorite parts here. At the very end of the bathroom here, I did a beaded entry because it just seemed like she wouldn't have a door to her bathroom. She would have a little area that was beads that hung up, because I mean, well, of course, vampires don't need to use the bathroom other than a shower, so I thought it would be fun. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. Please, like I said, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the combination of the Create a Sim and with the build that matches them. And I will talk to you guys next week in the next build, which is much in the same vein as this. And yeah, if you need anything, you can always DM me on Instagram. It's at Cozybec, the same as it is on here. I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much.